Hi, everybody, and welcome to I Like Cruise Ships, the YouTube channel, and welcome to a new live stream. This is going to be a Tuesday live stream talking about cruising, about ships, and about everything. Now, I'm actually using different software today because I'm testing out a few different things again. Now, the problem I've got here, I can't see how many people are live because I'm using a different software completely. I can see the live chat on one side, so I'm going to just see how it goes. We may end up deleting this live chat altogether. It may be a complete disaster. I'm not too sure. So let's just see how it is. If there is anybody live before I can figure out if anybody is live, please let me know. Let's call it that because I know that I'm live, but I can't see anybody. So, of course, this is just going out to subscribers, of course, of the channel. So, hasn't been shared in any social media. So, we'll give it a few minutes to get underway. And once I get past that part, we'll be all good. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? No, I want to go to analytics, don't I? No, I want to go to. Can we just open it? That would be handy. 2 live viewers. So I've got 2 live viewers. No regrets traveling with Teddy. Oh, there we go. Please let me know how the audio is. Now, I was using StreamYard, and I've changed it just for this live stream. StreamYard is actually a lot easier to use. So I'm hoping I'm going to maybe go back to that if this doesn't sort of come out as good. Mr. Cruise Fever, how are we going? Again, I can see people from the live chat with this software that I'm using. I don't think I can put these up on screen now, can I? Participants. Oh, I can see participants. Oh, there we go. I can see who's in. So yeah, Mr. Cruise Fever, how are you? And no regrets traveling with Teddy G. I like that. That's kind of a bit of a long name, but it's kind of cool, right? So imagine your name is Ted or Teddy. And I'm not sure, Mr. Cruise Fever. Can't hear you. There's no volume at all. So you're just seeing my mouth moving and there's no volume. You sound like you're talking behind a door. So this may end up getting ended really quickly. I did do a test recording and it came out okay. So that's very strange that there's no volume. I'm okay if there's only a couple of you here. So I did a test and it came out all right. So I'm very surprised that it's not coming out all right, if that makes sense. So I may have to end. I'm just really relying on you guys. Yes, it's volume but very low. That's strange as well. So I don't think this is going to make any difference, but let's see if that's any louder. This is OBS, which is a broadcasting program that's meant to be very good for live streaming, but it doesn't help if I can't uh, get it working. Yes, it's volume, but very low. So I sound like I'm talking behind a door. That's very strange. I'm in my same usual location, so that's not changed. So I'm not too sure why the volume's not coming across. My face is very red because today I was out in the snow and it wasn't very good weather today. So, um, yeah, that's better. Oh, it's a little bit better. So the volume's a little bit louder. I put the volume actually up a little bit. So that's kind of strange that it's better but not better. Does that make sense? Um, I think I'm going to have to use the go back to the StreamYard because it's just easier to use. Like it really is easier to use, if that makes sense. So, well, I can see 2 live viewers, so, and connection excellent. Why can't I see any other settings? That's very weird. Open. Enable share link. I don't want to do any of that. I want to go to, oh, look, there we go. That's stream health. So is it still echoey or are we coming across okay? I'm sorry that you guys are the guinea pigs of me testing this. I think that maybe StreamYard might be easier. I can actually put up the comments at the bottom with that. With this program, I can't, which is a bit of a shame. I can pin comments, but that's all I can do. So yeah, so there's 2 live viewers. So that's kind of cool. Oh, concurrent comments. That's a lot of things that I don't need to see. Stream health. Stream is healthy, so that's good. So that's kind of weird. Yeah, so it's working okay. No, clear and loud. Okay, so that's good news. So I'm wondering how everybody is. Now I am trying to figure out what day it would be a better day to go. I'm going to just keep looking over here a little bit because the live chat, I wonder if I can put the live chat, I can drag it over here. So I'm actually looking more directly at it. That's a little bit easier, but then I've got to look at myself now, and I don't want to really do that, do I? So, concurrent viewers, participants. I'd really like to see. Oh, we got a third person. Michael, how are we going? Oh, and Bear Bull Cruising. Oh, we've got a few people. Sounds great right now, Russell. Thanks. So now the plan is, let me talk about the plan. We've figured out that this microphone is beautiful for my, I'm just going to hold it like this, because typically the phone has to be in this. This is, oh, what's going on? This is my kind of selfie stick, I guess you could call it. And that's the microphone cable there. Now, the plan was to try to plug this microphone into my computer so we can have very nice audio, very nice audio. But it's not to be. So what can I do? Not a whole lot, I guess. I did order a cable, and it came today. This is the whole cable. It cost me a whole of $2, which allows it to split the audio between the. I'm going to talk about ships for a second, and then we will talk about ships. So it was going to split the audio right here. One's headphone, one's microphone. And obviously we couldn't do that, so we've kind of got a little bit stuck. And I did even have, the plan is if I can use StreamYard and I can get it working properly, I can bring people in to this live stream. But for now, I can't. So, especially with this software. Participants, there we go. Current viewers, current chat rate, viewer activity. Oh, that's okay. I'm just looking at some of the things here. Stream is healthy. That's good. That's kind of good. I really want to see how many people are there, but it doesn't show that. It just shows playback. Concurrent viewers, chat rate. That's very strange. Anyway, so I'm sure people are going to leave and come in. Participants. I kind of like that, participants. But then I can't see the chat. So if I do that and do that. Sorry, guys. The problem with this, what I'm doing, to be very, very honest, is you kind of need to do a live stream to see what's wrong, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I'm currently in my Moscow kitchen, if you guys know already. I if you want to check out the temperature right now, it's outside it's minus 4.9, which is actually not that cold. And here in the kitchen, it's 26.5. So I wonder what it is temperature-wise where you guys are. So it actually snowed today, I'd say about 3/4 of the day. So I've got a cool photo to show you if I can bring it up in a second. If I had the other program, I could bring it up a lot easier. So yeah, now big question. Mr. Cruise Fever is asking, when are you going back on board cruise ships? Now, the problem I've got is I'm waiting for my Russian residency visa. We put it in about 7 weeks ago, and they told us about between 2 and 4 months. Now, it looks more like it's going to be 3 or 4 months, not 2 months, which would be coming up in about another week or so's time. The plan is to go back on Carnival Horizon, because I've been asked and asked and asked and asked and asked, I don't know how many times, and even the current shop manager on there now has asked me to go back on there. But obviously, while I don't have my Russian visa, if I was to leave the country now and fly out of Moscow, for instance, to anywhere in the world, I don't have a visa to re-enter Moscow or re-enter Russia. I'd have to fly back to Australia, get a visa, and then fly back here. And that's just a little bit too difficult. It sounds easy, and it would be in normal times, but it's not. So there's not much I can do for now. I just have to wait it out. The plan is to go back to Carnival Horizon. It would be actually more amazing if I could go to a different ship so I can make a whole lot of new videos, because I've made so many videos on the Horizon, particularly of the public areas of the ship, and maybe it's not as interesting. I guess I can do like better videos or versions of the videos I've got already, so reshoot them and talk more about the ship in general. What I'd really want to do is to do port of call walkarounds, like how to get to the beach videos, which I've done already. Yeah, Mr. Chris Weaver, you're welcome. No worries. Yeah, the plan will be to get off in the ports. Now, obviously, at the moment, there's a lot of ships that aren't allowing crew members off in the ports of call. It depends on the amount of cases on board. There's about 100 different factors of crew can and can't get off. So where you're reading on some Facebook groups where crew can't get off, that might be a certain ship and a certain port. Where you're reading, it may be a certain cruise line that's not letting the crew off in the ports as well, which is another problem altogether. So yeah, it's kind of too many problems at the same time. So now I'm going to show you guys. Oh, it's weird, isn't it? Can you see the red here on my face? So today, now if we go back a few days ago, by the way, Ada Van, how are we going? I see you in the chat. You guys can kind of chat amongst yourself. Come on, Russell, come to the West Coast. Get on Panorama or Miracle. Yeah, isn't Miracle going to, Miracle is going to Hawaii, right? I know for sure. I'll tell you the story in a bit about this, why I've got red face. Yeah, the Miracle is going to Hawaii. I know the shop staff didn't get off on the last Hawaii trip. They did, is it a 10 or 12-day cruise? And they did the sea days over there, and then they were hoping to get off, and then I guess either the ship or the ports didn't allow crew to get off in the ports of call. So all the crew basically did a 10 sea day round trip without stepping off on the gangway whatsoever. So our first cruise, Michael's first cruise, is leaving on the 6:25 from Galveston on the Breeze. So yeah, I guess we're on. Oh, that's about 5 months. So are you in one of the cruise groups? I know there's on Facebook. You can put like Carnival Breeze, and then January, February, March, 25th of June, and there might be a group, maybe 20 people in it now, but there might be 3 or 4 or 500 in it when it gets closer to the time, and then people that are on the same itinerary, obviously. That would be kind of cool to get in that group. So Yes, I'll be on the horizon April 30 for my birthday for the 8-day ABC Island cruise. Yeah, I would love to be on board before April 30, really and truly. I really was planning, well, planning in my head for me to be able to get on the ship next month. You know, maybe, I don't know what date it will be in February, but I'd love to be on there now. I'd love to have been on there in Italy while it was in dry dock. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go on Panorama for the fact that I can do different videos and I can do new cabin tours. Yeah. What about a walk around port tour of San Francisco? Sorry for the shameless plug on my closest cruise port. No worries. Yeah, I've never really done any port of calls like say Galveston or Miami. I just wouldn't have the time to be able to film something like that in the few hours I'd literally have to get off the ship. I'd love to, you know, obviously be there for a day or two and then film, you know, different parts of the cruise terminal, not really the cruise terminal, but the port area, and then maybe how to get a taxi, how to get to the airport and things like that. That would be something I'd love to try to do, but you'd need a couple of days to do that. You'd really kind of, you know, need a better editor of videos than me. So a lot of what I do is very unedited. You'll see if you watch, you know, some of the videos, there's very little editing. It's just basically me walking and talking. Yeah, what about a walk around? Yeah, San Francisco is amazing, by the way. I was there quite a few years ago now on Norwegian Cruise Line. I was in dry dock. So the dry dock facilities in San Francisco, or San Fran, I guess you guys call it, are quite close to where the what's the San Francisco baseball team? It's very close to where the stadium is for the San Francisco baseball team. I don't know the name. Yeah, I was on Norwegian Sky and Norwegian Star. They were both in dry dock at the same time, which is almost unheard of for two ships to be in dry dock at the same time. In the Bahamas, occasionally you'll get two ships there together. But what happened was at the time, this is quite a lot of years ago, the Norwegian Star was coming out of Hawaiian cruising, and Norwegian Sky was going over to be Pride of Aloha and doing the Hawaiian island cruises. So they were basically switching the ships. Oh, I just moved my hand here. And then they were switching over. In Hawaii, they don't allow casinos. So they basically took the casino out of Norwegian Sky at the time. And actually the area where that was, it became a Hawaiian cultural center on board, if you've ever been on there to know that. And the Norwegian Star was never built with a casino in it originally because it was always doing Hawaiian cruising. So they basically added back, if that makes sense, the casino, if that's very weird how that happened. Yeah, we spent, I think I was there for about 3 or 4 weeks. So you basically live on the ship. You're not living off the ship, unfortunately. But we got a lot of chances to go and see a lot of the downtown area, over to Alcatraz. We actually got, they provided some buses on one of the days, and we went over to see the other baseball team. Man, I wish I remember the names of these. There's a baseball, Oakland Athletic. Yeah, the cruise line at the time we got 2 buses, and there was probably 6. I was going to say it was 100 crew, but I reckon it was probably about 50 or 60. 2 buses of crew members, and they gave us all general admission tickets to see Oakland Athletic play. It was a day game. I remember that because afterwards you could go down on the field. I'm pretty sure they did fireworks, didn't they? You could go on the grass field and watch the fireworks at the end. And then they bussed us back over and dropped us off in downtown, and we went to some bars afterwards. It was actually a crazy day. Yeah, another question, Mr. Cruise Fever. Yeah, so did you like the Carnival Horizon? I'm going to say I loved it because I was on there from the shipyard when they built the ship. I had a lot of say in how the storerooms were set up with our stock for the shops, the merchandise and where it all went and things like that. Setting up the shops from scratch. We basically got our containers brought from Florida over to Italy. We opened the containers for the first time. Even we had to decide where the pens were going to go, where the staplers were going to go, where the, you know, signs, like in the storerooms, we had some signage up, which shelf heights we were going to use in the storerooms. So when you get to do all that kind of thing, you get a very close in knowledge of very close in knowledge of what's going on and how the shops run and operate, if that makes sense. So yeah, I kind of loved. I love the ship for the fact that it's very close to my heart in that I, know the ship from the very beginning, and it was very. You get to do a lot of things, So I'm just wondering where I can get the link to share the stream. I'm sure there's somewhere where you can. I'm just going to jump out for a second here. I'll go back here. Can I do that? Get shareable link. What? Let's see if we can share this and get a few people more into the chat, shall we? I know it's kind of cool and intimate. I'll come back to the questions in a second. If anybody's in a different, what do you call this, like groups, or you want to share it on Facebook, go for it. Now, the only thing I was worried about with the sound is because I'm running from the computer's speakers now, the fan is running on the computer. I can't even spell Tuesday. Let's talk ship. And let's just share that right there. Hopefully that'll come up. Hopefully. We'll do one more share and I'll come right back. So now what I'm trying to do with the live stream too is pick the better day to do this. I think probably Saturday or Sunday seems to be when more people are free. I do watch a few live streams myself, and I do tend to notice they even do twice a week. They do like a midweek one. I don't think I can find the other one. I want to share this too. Oh my gosh. Cruise news. Let's do that. Groups. And we'll come right back to where we were. My groups. What? I think we're not going to be able to find it. So let's just get out of that. Let's press that. And we'll be back. Notes. What's chats? Analytics. I guess we're not going to see that. So there's the chat back. Stream health. Stream is healthy. That's always good. San Francisco Giants is called Oracle Park now. Yeah, all the parks. You guys can chat and I'll basically catch up a little bit. Yeah, all the stadiums, even here in Moscow, all of the football stadiums. One is VTB Arena, which is the bank. They're pretty much named after the banks. VTB Arena, that's the one I do know. Pretty sure the others are named after banks as well. Yeah, Oracle Park. I guess because of that area being Silicon Valley and everything, I guess Oracle's kind of a big play on that. At home, we had a big. We've got Perth. It's called Perth Stadium because they couldn't come up with a name, and because of naming rights, people didn't want to call it by its named stadium name. So yeah, the other baseball team is Oakland Athletic. Yes, Mr. No Regrets Traveler. Sorry, I keep wanting to say your name and then I'm reading your whole name on the channel. Is anyone familiar with the ZV1? Yes, I've actually, in the last day or two, I was looking up some of these cameras, and I'm pretty sure if that's the one, is that the one that I looked at? Now, the problem I've got now is with this software, if you're on the live stream when we did the Carnival Horizon sail away, I'm able to share the screen. I've not got this one set up. Is that the ZV one? Is that the one I was looking? One of the ones I was looking at. Yeah, this was one of the cameras that I was looking at. And actually, I've got a friend here in Moscow who does does YouTube videos, and he's very much into Sony cameras because of the fact that Sony is a little bit more recognized for their audio and video. To get a streaming camera. Where is that one gone? What's the chat on? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's right there. It's back again. There we go. Oh, there we go. We can pull that over to that side. Yeah, ZV-1 is definitely a camera I would recommend. What I'd really suggest is go on to YouTube and put, best vlogging camera or best camera for vlogging, and pull up, maybe search by like the most amount of views, or somebody that's got a lot of like 1 million or something subscribers, and take a look at some videos, or especially ones where they give you kind of like the unboxing. You don't really want sort of like a mum and dad style one. You want one of these guys that are like the, tech channels, where they'll kind of give you the pros and cons of the camera. There is another one, actually, I think it's a Canon one. I think there is a Canon one as well that I was looking at. It's 100. Yeah, I don't remember the name. Oh my gosh. I wish I had the other software now. I'm going to have to change for the next stream to get it a little bit easier to use, so that I can bring up the screen and screen share at the same time. Yeah, Ada says, I love the Horizon. Discovered your channel when I was looking at room tours. Yes, I think so many people did that. Like, really and truly, so many people did find the channel that way. I actually, it came to a point at let's say not at the end, but almost on a daily basis, I was kind of recognized in the shop. And then actually, sometimes there's two of us working in the liquor store, and when the other guy I was working with would mention, oh, you know that Russell's on YouTube, he's famous, and they're like, oh, okay, I've never seen him. I said, oh, well, did you watch maybe like the Elevator Secrets video or the Carnival Horizon Secret Deck video? And they're like, yeah, we watched that. I'm like, oh, that was me. Oh, okay. Oh, that's you. Oh, okay. And they kind of put two and two together and realized that, I was I was that person who made the videos. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I've seen Carnival Horizon tours, cruise vloggers. I like the shops are separate. Yeah, I've not been on the Carnival Horizon yet. Yeah, so the Horizon, I guess now Vista, Panorama, they were the first ships where they were basically building shops on two levels. So what they realized was, if you look at sort of a lot of the, let's say, Destiny class or Conquest class ships, the shops were on deck 5. And then deck 4 around the atrium is where the photo gallery is. Traditionally on pretty much all of those classes of ships, even on fantasy class as well at some point. And because the ships were basically moving over to digital photography, they didn't need the video, the walls to put the photos up. So what they've done is they've moved the photo gallery now to deck 4 midship on the horizon, and they've got those touchscreen monitors, and they've got digital walls, and they don't need the space that they had in the atrium where they then put the shops. So they managed to basically squeeze, well, not squeeze in, but they put 4 shops on deck 4. There's 2 small logo stores. There's the liquor store, and then there's on Horizon, it's an Invicta watch shop. It was originally a digital watch store, not digital, what's the smartwatch store. They were trying to put a smart store in there, but it never worked, and they moved it over to Invicta watches because they were just crazy selling on cruise ships. So yeah, the space then, the only kind of complaint that most people have is that the logo part of the shop is quite small on the horizon on that deck 4. It's a very small kind of nook of a shop. It's more like a little kiosk. And what they've had to do was the t-shirt sales they were doing up on deck 5 on the promo tables that they've got set up. And then slowly they allowed us to put a table outside the store of the logo shop. And then on the other side it was kind of like the Nike store, but then again, Nike products never worked either. So they had to basically change it over to 2 logo stores with different things in different shops. The whole idea when the shops came out for Horizon was it was going to be quite radical and quite different to anything that had ever been done before. So the initial shops were beautiful and looked amazing, but they weren't making money because they were set up to look beautiful. And actually, the liquor store and tobacco, which I work in, and then the sundries, which is like headache tablets and things like that. I'm just going to change my seat here. Was hugely successful because we had me and another guy that absolutely walked in, know what we were doing, and worked, literally from day one, and it was beautiful to everybody in the other parts of the shop. So still getting used to the layout of the shops and how it was designed. So yeah, that's how I found your channel, Russell. I think you did a cabin tour of a fully accessible cabin, and that's how I decided to pick my cabin on Panorama. Yeah, I did when I initially was making those. I was kind of making them by request, and I had a kind of like literally a scrap piece of paper with numbers written on it, and then each embarkation day. So back in Barcelona and then New York, I really didn't know completely what I was doing back then, and how big it would be later. I would have done a lot more cabins. I would have done I would have been a bit more efficient about it. But the problem you've got is on debarkation day, which is when everyone gets off the ship, the time you've got between when everyone's off and when the cabins are ready and the next guest embarks is very little time. And I made a kind of point that I wouldn't film cabins that were kind of very messy. I know there's a few videos where they are, but I did sort of do my best not to go in rooms that were kind of crazy with stuff everywhere. The cabin stewards really, bust their butts to get the cabins looking good. So that's why I probably didn't do some people's requests and others. Yeah, if you are, for me, Carnival Horizon, the other thing too, it's got the IMAX theater on deck. Kind of in a weird spot. It's on deck 6 forward. It's kind of the area that's above the shops, which would be deck 6 and 7 and 8, kind of in that forward area of the ship. And because the ship doesn't have essentially an atrium, that's the space where the atrium would be in kind of theory. For me, that's the other amazing thing about the Horizon is the IMAX theater is built like a movie theater. You go in and there's the concession stand. They do have kind of like a place where you buy the tickets, but then you've got touch screen where you can sort of use your Sail and Sign card. It's a little bit more modern than traditional kind of, box office, if you like. You go up the stairs, you walk in the lower area of the seating of the theater, of the IMAX theater. And it's exactly like you'd walk in a cinema on land. It's probably even better. And for me, that hour or 2 hours you spend watching a movie is kind of you're completely transformed away from what you know that you're on a cruise ship. And it's kind of completely different to what you ever think that you're on a ship. You kind of forget completely. So yeah. Now we are still live. Now the only thing is I can't see on this screen how many people are here. I could see before. It says 4 live viewers, so I'll take that as truth. I have to kind of just see and rely a little bit on the on everybody kind of doing some chatting. So my hubby spent quite a bit of time in the IMAX. Oh, so he went to the movies. Yeah, the crew also. Okay, we can pay full price and go to a movie. Very, very typically, most of the showings of the movies are when everybody's working. So it would be almost very rare that a crew member or staff member, if you like, would go to a movie in normal hours. What they were doing was, as the new releases were every week or every second week, I think it was Wednesday or Thursdays, they'd have to do kind of like a technical screening. So I think all cinemas around the world do this. They run the movie once they receive it, to make sure it plays back. The sound is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the file, I guess, or I guess back in the day it was a movie reel, and what they do was they decided to let crew members come to watch the technical screening. So knowing that, so what they do is they'd actually do the live screening at about midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I know that's crazy sounding. And then all the crew could go to watch whatever that movie was at 1 or 2 in the morning. Now, the only problem with that is if you work sort of very normal, like we were doing shop hours, that would mean it's kind of in our off time or our sleep time. But if you wanted to go see that newest movie that releases the next day on the ship, typically this is the reason why John Heel doesn't release the IMAX schedule. I think IMAX control the releases of the movies or when they're showing, what dates, and I'm pretty sure there's some sort of contractual agreement that they can't let you know ahead of time what the movies would be. So you may know from the past guests from one cruise earlier, but as late as basically that same week where a new movie's coming out, they come out on the ship at the same time, in the same 12 or 24 hours. It's kind of cool. Yeah, give us a thumbs up if you like. Yeah, let's see if we can get any thumbs up. I can't see. I wish I would have done this a little bit better. Every time I'm going to do a live stream, it's going to get better, I promise you. Chat. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's see if we can grab anybody over. We'll just paste this over here. Maybe we'll get somebody coming into the group. I don't know. Maybe not. Let's just pull up that one. And then where is this chat? There's a live chat thing right here that lets me see people chatting or answering questions. So yeah, let me just talk about for a minute what happened today and why my face looks red. Oh my gosh, it looks worse on the camera than it really is. So going back about 3 days ago, I'll see if we can just put this on this screen here because it would probably be helpful. Where are we? That's my camera right there. Can you see that? That's actually a shot from my balcony. And that's I guess you'd call them the council workers or the city workers cleaning their streets, with from the snow. And I kind of saw this and then I thought, oh, it didn't look like it. For me, it looked like it was just a bunch of guys kind of mucking in and moving all the snow from the paths outside my window here. And I thought, oh, I'll get dressed and I'll go down there. I'll give him a hand. I noticed there was a guy with a wheelbarrow with a whole lot of spare shovels. Like there was probably 5 or 10 extra ones. So I literally just grabbed one and started, kind of shoveling the streets, if you like. Um, so I did it for a couple of hours. So we did the whole one road, which I can see where I live here. And then they stopped actually for like a little tea break, and they offered me some food and a drink. You know, and then they kind of said, "Oh, none of them spoke any English, zero English." And the guy pulled up on his like Google Translate. Do you want to come with us? We're going to do another street round the corner. I'm like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? It's walking distance. Everything's quite close in our little town where we live here. It's probably considered a village, not a town, but and so we went to do another whole street, and then they kind of literally, strangely enough, they were going off to another street somewhere. They all threw their spades in the back of a truck, and then they all left. And I'm like, oh, okay, then look, I'm done anyway. I think it was about 3 or 4 hours. And I took a photo of, where's the next photo? I took a photo of these guys right here. These were the guys when they were on their break. And I thought, oh, I'll post it on a Facebook group that I'm in for the local village. And they shared it on Instagram. And it's probably now got about 600 or 700, I guess, is it hearts, I think, on Instagram, or like likes. And then what's happened was the local administration of the village saw this picture and wanted to thank me. So they actually invited me to their offices today at lunchtime. And my wife was like, oh, they're going to like thank you, maybe give you a certificate or something. And they called my wife. They kind of messaged her for her phone number. And they said, oh, you need to come at like 12 o'clock as scheduled. There's a TV crew here, like from the news station. And they invited a news station to come. They've even invited a translator to come. And they presented me. Let's see if we can pull up that other photo. Where is it? No, they presented me with a gift. It's probably a bit hard to see. And that's me getting interviewed there by the local head of administration for the town. And that's the news crew. A little bit sort of, they're using just basic, well, very good quality digital cameras. That was me today. Actually, I'm wearing the same shirt because I came home and I'm here again. And they presented me with, oh, we've moved it, have we? Oh, I had it right behind me. I got a mug, I got a scarf, I got a hat, a beanie hat, and I got also a book, like the history of the region where I'm living. It's like a crazy book. We were flicking through it tonight, my wife and I, and it goes through the whole history of our village and, the famous people, the sports stars, the industries here. And it's really, really very cool. Yeah. So we don't have any more questions in the chat. Now, the one thing I really want to mention is for other go lives, I guess we call them. I probably am going to do Saturday or Sunday. Now, the idea is to figure out, should we do it in the morning or the evening? Most people are just wanting to make sure that it's scheduled. So that's kind of the key, is to get it scheduled so that it's, everyone can kind of be a little bit prepared, not just sort of seeing it popping up on their phone and coming into the live chat. So that's something. I'm just clicking away here. Sorry, whoever's watching or listening. Yeah, thanks everybody if you have given us a like, and then also whoever's still watching. Let's say I really like to get more people in to watch these, but it's obviously very tough. Probably won't end up doing a cruise news today either. I do actually have one Q&A video that I recorded a couple of days ago, and I'll probably actually maybe put that live right after this. So if you might want to watch, it's actually talking about passports. I tend to, when I first started doing the Q&As, I was taking a lot of the questions from Facebook groups, and then slowly, I didn't notice as many questions. And most questions in Facebook groups now are pretty much about mask mandates and about the like PCR testing or RAT testing, rapid antigen test. So, and I'm not going to do any videos on that because they won't really be valid within a certain time, you know. So if I did a video now, something will change 5 days from now, especially where it's a Q&A style video. So yeah, let me just press that one again. Oh, there we go. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'd love to get more viewers. I watch a guy sometimes in the evenings that does like video game streaming, and he has 900, 1,000 people watching a live stream. Actually, if I ever watch Linus Tech Tips, I don't know if you watch any other channels. He has quite a few million subscribers, millions and millions, and he can get 10, well, 20 or 30,000 people, and the chat goes so fast. It's like scrolling, like the stock exchange, you know, like how fast it scrolls. It's kind of yeah, and here there's just a few of us, so that's kind of good. So, hey Russell, you're a star, 3 stars. Oh, thanks. When I did this interview today, it was obviously in Russian. Then this translator asked me questions back, and then I talked it back in English and so on. The lady said the lady that's from the news station, she was so bubbly and she got selfies with me and everything. It was kind of really cool. And she's like, oh, you know, if the administration asks you again for help, or if they offer you a job, would you take it as the local street cleaning crew? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, if I would go and help them anytime they want help. And, you know, I was like, you know, they were asking me what was my reasoning. I'm like, oh, I was trying to strengthen Australian and Russian relations, you know, by... you know, so, oh, Ada, you have to run. Catch you later. Ada Van. Kind of like it how you got like an icon down there. And Mr. Chris Fever has an M, so you need to change your YouTube icon. I think it's your like Google icon or something. So, yeah, catch you later. Hopefully we'll be scheduled a little bit better. Again, if I can get this microphone, the plan is, and I talked about it in my other live stream, where a couple of people gave this chats money or stickers or whatever this is called. It's going towards a new microphone. I was hoping this was going to work. This is the one I use for my vlogging, so I'll have to kind of keep using that one for vlogging. But actually, before we went live, my wife was helping me test this, and she's like, just buy one, just go out and buy one. And I'm like, knowing that it's more expensive in Russia, the price of things compared to America, you know, or even Australia. So any super chats or super stickers that ever come through will be part of that fund to get them. The plan is to get a microphone that'll come in front of me here and a boom arm, which if you ever watch other live streamers, they've got them and it's pretty normal, and I'm just the unnormal kind of guy. So have you been to Bonaire on the horizon? We went, I think, once, Mr. Cruise Fever. I went once, and we might have gone twice, and one of the ports I couldn't get off. And I literally got off. I walked a little bit around town, and we went to the local KFC, which is very sad, I know. But it's my thing to do in the Caribbean a lot, is to go for lunch in the port. And if there's a KFC there, I'm absolutely there in a flash. It's not the same KFC as you have in America. It's much, much, much nicer. It's they liken it when you go to the one in Jamaica. It's like eating like KFC with sprinkled with drugs on top. It's that nice. And if you ever go and see all the crew members at the one in Ocho Rios, in Grand Cayman as well, there's a couple of different ones, KFCs. But yeah, that's what I did in my Bonaire day. I wish I would have done more. I know I always say that, but especially where you can do like these cruise terminal walkarounds or what's in the port kind of videos. I will definitely work on this for all the ports that I'll go to in the next contract. I see the kind of value in making them because they're what's called evergreen videos. So they're very searchable on YouTube. Actually, even if you search them in Google, they'll come up. And that's a lot of my videos are kind of evergreen videos where they're not, just a current event or a topic or a vlogging kind of title, so where they'll just get views instantly for a day or two and that, will die away. Some of the cabin videos and the port videos have got thousands of views to this day. So Bevel Cruising asks, hey Russell, when you get your supplies at your shops, do they come through the front entrance or do they have a back of house entrance or the cruise ships to restock supplies? Yeah, so actually, interestingly, when we did the Carnival Horizon arrival video or departure video, arrival video, I did mention a few times about the forward gangway and aft gangway. And someone put in a comment, what's the aft gangway? So on the ships, if you may ever go to Cozumel, for instance, quite often the ships have two gangways to get on and off in the port. They've got one at the front, which is the forward gangway, and they've got one at the back. Now, very typically, most or all cruise ships don't have a passenger area leading to the aft gangway. It's normally through a crew area, and they're what's called shell doors. So even the gangway that opens on the forward of the ship, they open the shell door and then they put the gangway out. And then for the aft gangway, it's actually in a crew area. They call it the marshalling area. So, and that's pretty much, I think that's normal across a lot of cruise lines, the marshalling area. Obviously, you marshal things, right? You put them all together and do what you need to do. And typically the aft gangway is in the marshalling area. And then they maybe have got like stanchions or, they actually put curtains now, like these huge vinyl curtains that direct everybody to not see what's in that marshalling area and see how ugly it is, and then kind of walk you to the back elevators or stairs of the guest area. So yeah, typically when we're in Miami or in Galveston was my last ship on the Dream, the loading of the supplies comes on that back gangway, and they put sort of special ramps to allow the pallets to be loaded on. And that's actually also how they get the luggage on and off as well on those cages. So yeah, basically the stock comes in through that aft gangway. That's in the home ports like Miami, Port Canaveral, Galveston, wherever. And then they'd go to storerooms. So on Horizon, for instance, we've got storerooms on deck 0, which is that crew deck where the gangways are. We've got them on deck A, which is the one level below. So after 0 goes to A and B, deck A, deck B. Then the engine room even has deck C. But pretty much crew areas are deck A and B. So deck A forward is our logo locker. And then the liquor actually is in deck 0 aft, which is actually in the provisions area, the food area. So they store everything in lockers. And then what would happen is then there's crew elevators that on Horizon, for instance, kind of very close to the theater entrance and the forward elevators. There's actually some crew elevators behind there. So we'd put things on trolleys, we'd bring them up those crew elevators, and then we'd bring them into the shop areas. Very typically, actually on the Horizon as an example, there's no back door entrances into the shops. For the liquor store, they do have one because there's actually an emergency exit, kind of a door that goes out to the boat deck because the shops are on 4 where the boat deck is. So we can actually bring a trolley in through the boat deck and then into the back of the shops without it looking like it's being wheeled in. But otherwise, we'd wheel a trolley in through the front door of the shop, literally. And and the stock will, come off the trolleys and do what you need to do. A lot on the horizon was we were doing our best to not do that in passenger or shop opening hours. So it was always our plan was to try not to have trolleys go through public areas. Um, there's a bit of a sneaky on the horizon. You can go from where the shops were on deck 4 across the casino, and then you can take the midship elevators down to the storerooms, to the liquor storerooms anyway. And it's not obviously good to wheel a trolley through the middle of the casino while the casino's open. We can do it sort of in early morning hours or in late night hours when things are closed. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. A little bit longer version of the question. Yeah, I hope you've liked this live chat. Again, it is a little bit unscheduled. I'm looking at 2 different cameras. That's why I should be looking right here, but I'm not. Oh, hey, Russell, missed those safety briefings routines on board. Yeah, I'm a little bit famous for doing the safety briefings because of my Australian style and nature, and how we'd arrange people. I'd literally take over the muster stations, they call them, right? So I'd literally take over running the muster station, even where there's a muster station leader, which would be one of the officers or one of the guest services supervisors, and I'd almost be the leader of the muster station because some of the stations are a lot smaller and the space allowed. You've really got to plan where everyone's going to go and sit and things like that. So yeah, I'd literally just take it over because the quicker we can get their muster station drill done, the quicker everyone can get back to cruising, right? So, and then now they've gone over to e-mustering, which is essentially the same thing, but they don't need you to stay there, listen to a series of announcements, and then be dismissed. And obviously, then it avoids social distancing and things like that. So, what they're doing now is they're taking a few. I don't know how they're doing it literally, but they're taking the crew members there with those check-in tablets, and then from pretty much embarkation until sail away, everybody has to come to the muster station, be shown a very brief explanation of the life jackets, where the exits are and things like that, and then everyone knows that that's their muster station. So if it's in the dining room or the casino, for instance, or the main theater, they'd know what to do, and in the event of a real emergency, right? They always say that. So yeah, you missed doing the muster station. Actually, I funny enough, most crew hate doing muster station drills, and for me, it's kind of a part of that embarkation day. So we do our loading. Generally, I'd go shoot some videos or get off in the port. I'd then come back on board, get dressed for work, knowing the time of the drill, and then pretty much between that sail away and then the shop opening, we'd either go watch the ship leaving the port or go to the mess and have dinner. And it was kind of a part of that day, you know what I mean? Especially for me, I'd really block that time knowing that's when the drill is, that's when I go for dinner, that's when I go to work. And it, makes sense. That's how I, envisioned it. So yeah, I like how the safety drill is new now for guests. Can check in anytime. Yeah, I hope they keep it after COVID goes away. Yeah, I guess, it's all probably based on a lot of the feedback. And then with the tablet system, those tablets are all connected. So each muster station, and there's a tablet number. So each person is assigned their tablet. You actually log into it. And then there's a mimic board. It's actually like a 60-inch TV screen up on the bridge. And then in the safety office. And that mimic board is very cool. It can show everyone checking in. It can show the numbers of people that haven't checked in. It can pull up even down to cabin numbers, names of people, photos of the person. And it's incredibly useful for statistics and knowing how quickly the muster station, so they can see, we could see literally down to every person from the total muster station down to the last person who hasn't checked in. So when we used to do it and I was in the casino, I could actually see the names of the people who hadn't checked in, and we could literally call their names, and something might have happened where they've forgotten, or they arrived and didn't check in with somebody. And then up on the bridge, they can see that, the casino muster station, they've checked in everybody quicker. They've got only 5 missing. There's 50 missing in another lounge or whatever. When I got off the Dream, I was in the main theater, and we made a point of closing the fire screen doors for the theater before the drill started. So we knew we were starting with an empty lounge. Oh, Pamela, how are we going? We're just talking about muster stations, and we're doing a bit of an unscheduled live stream, as my normal thing seems to be. And then we'd open the theater doors for the start of the drill. We'd like to check everybody off as they came in. We'd have tablet holders at the doors of the theater. We had it down to a science how we did it. I mean, in terms of for the theater and our muster station leader, we had it sort of so well organized. We knew what to do. We knew where the exits were, how we'd walk people out. On there, you'd have to walk them out, go up one deck, because the theater's on deck 3, boats are up on deck 4. So we'd have to have a bit of a plan about how we were going to do it in real life, of course. There was never a real life happening. So, I would imagine they may kind of keep going with them, knowing that they kind of work. And the only thing is, where you've got everybody in one place, people can see what it would really look like in that. The main theater would hold, the downstairs area maybe 300 or 400 people. That 300 or 400 people would have to come to that theater and sit there for the length of the emergency or whatever would happen. Whereas if you're just coming two at a time, people probably don't get the the understanding of the seriousness of the drill, if that makes sense. Mr. Phil says, cruise vloggers I watch, they announce on PA. Any guests have not done their safety drill, please go to check in. Yeah, right. So I know for the casino one, for instance, like on the horizon, we could see that last lot of names, and we'd walk around and say, does anyone know John Smith or Lisa Smith? We could actually see if they were traveling with other people who, like if they've cruised as a group or a family and things like that. Very typically for Horizon, I remember there was always like crazy Chinese names or Vietnamese names, and I know that they probably don't understand that the drill's happening, so that they weren't going to show up. There is a kind of a minimum percentage that can be, let's say, not accounted for at the boat drill for the sail away, and where, for instance, you've been on a cruise and they announce names on the PA, that means on the tablet we could actually see the total of all ship, where we knew the total of every station that was missing. So where there was still 100 missing, or 200 or 300 out of 4,000, they won't go ahead with the rest of the drill until that number comes down. So that's where they would call, particularly large families, whether it be 4 or 6 or 10 people in 2 parties together. And it was intentional that they'd call names to try to get more people there and realize the seriousness of the drill. I know if, like with the theater, for instance, we'd know that there'd only be 3 people missing, and they're probably not going to show up. The cruise line was always even going to plan to do like a secondary drill. I think they still even announced it right towards the end before COVID, where those people who would be late to embark the ship, like they'd getting on within half an hour of sailing, and they naturally couldn't make it to the drill. They were walking on with their bags, going to their room. They'd do a secondary drill for those people that miss the initial boat drill, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that gives a bit of an insight. Let me ask, how was your schedule? Was your duty? Did you have time, for example, to explore a lot of places? And how did you manage the free time between shifts? Yeah, so for the shops, we were basically working when the ship was at sea. So if we're on a day at sea or a fun day at sea, we'd open the shops 9 a.m., close 11 p.m. So that's pretty much our bread and butter when we're working all day on sea days. And then for the shops, for instance, we'd work on port days. we'd work when the ship sails away. So if, like say, a Miami day for embarkation, we'd work about half an hour or an hour after sail away from the port. So maybe 5 or 6 p.m. and then till 11. And then maybe like a Cozumel, we might be in port till 5 or 6 or 7 p.m. About half an hour after sail away, we'd work, let's call it, say, 6:30 p.m. till 11 p.m. So our port days, we wouldn't work, and we don't do anything in port. So that's our off time. And then I'd go out and I'd get off in the ports if I could. You know, a lot of crew members don't get off in every port of call. I mean, people think that the whole ship just piles off. You know, some people just sleep for the whole day, or do their washing, or go and have lunch, or so no, the stream will end shortly. What? No data? What's going on? I hope not. Sorry, there's a bit of a message coming up on my screen right here. So yeah, what else it says there? Do you have time, for example, to explore a place? Yeah, so absolutely. If we're in any port of call, you know, pretty much all the videos where you see on the channel, like Cozumel or Grand Turk, was pretty much my off time when I'd get off in the port. And typically I'd go and do things at the same time as making the video. So I wouldn't, you know, spend my entire day walking around with the camera. I'd go, like where we went to Paradise Beach in Cozumel. I'd kind of go there for the day and then film going there and the walk around and stuff like that. Or if I did like the other cruise terminals in Cozumel, I'd kind of go over there intentionally and then sort of spend time over there, or, you know, go get some Wi-Fi or go get lunch. So it wasn't really out of my way to do things most of the time. So yeah, yeah, I would always plan around, you know, a certain day of the week where I do my laundry. So I, even on embarkation on Miami, the 2 or 3 hours before sail away. So a lot of crew pretty much sleep on Miami if they don't have to work, because it's such a busy, hard, long day, and that's a good time when the crew laundry was always free, because, you know, all the crew were either working or in bed, and the crew laundry was free. So, yeah, Miss Griffith says they still set the alarm before they set for guests knowing that the sound for guests to know what the sound is like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, of course, I've not been on board since, but I imagine that is the case. They'd still do the, you know, probably the verbal announcements, and, you know, in an event of emergency, this is the 7 short and 1 long was the general emergency alarm. So yeah, they still probably do that kind of part of it, but just that whole gathering of people and then, you know, everybody going to the boats and so on, you know, wouldn't happen, if that makes sense. Yeah, can we see live chat? Let's press this one. Where's this one? Oh, thanks. Yeah, Pamela says you've made some nice port guides. Yeah, they're pretty much just walkarounds of the whole cruise terminals. I mean, they're not edited. I mean, my dream of dreams would be to have if my wife worked on ships and she loved filming and editing, would be someone else to record me doing the walkarounds and then edit them. You know, for instance, you'd walk off in Cozumel, you'd sort of point out the gangway, then you'd walk ahead and then point out the shops, walk ahead, you know, point out maybe 5 different shops there, or a restaurant or a bar, and edit it down to a shorter video, which would be more of a highlights type video. But I'm just not very good at editing. I never learned it in school. I kind of picked this up a long time after everybody else. And it would be kind of cool if I knew how to do everything. But I don't. I mean, there's some amazing YouTubers who just have skills and knowledge beyond the average person. There's YouTubers that are, for me, better than TV shows. I know that's a big call to say that, so, but I think so. Now, if we have no more questions, yeah, thanks. Yeah, you made some nice port guides. Yeah, I actually, if you want to know, one of probably my favorite videos is the Carnival Horizon water slide review. if you might want to watch those couple of videos. Actually, the Carnival Dream one as well. So the Dream one I filmed with actually on both Dream and Horizon were the guys I work with in the shops. The one on Dream was actually my roommate Lawrence, who's now on the Horizon. We were on Dream together, and on Dream, the one on the Horizon one, I'm mixing them up here, was with Jose and his girlfriend Karen. So we actually planned to stay on board in the port that day and do the water slides. Crew and get staff and everybody can go and use them in port. But very rarely does anybody actually do that. So I thought, I'll film the videos. They're kind of nicely edited. I took a lot of time to edit those to get them a little bit more cut down, and they're still long videos though. They always say the sweet spot for YouTube videos is between about 8 and 12 minutes videos, where people kind of have that attention span for about 8 to 12 minutes. So if you're watching anything longer than that, that's amazing, you know? So, yeah. Okay, everybody. I might have to call it right here. Not for the fact that I don't want to keep chatting. It would be nice if there's more people in the chat. I guess, again, where it's scheduled, we could get a nice crowd, you know? I'm going to thank everybody for watching I Like Cruise Ships, the YouTube channel. I'm sorry if I'm loving you and leaving you, so to speak, but I hope you've learned a couple of things from the nice questions we had today. I kind of like answering them, of course. It's very easy, especially if people give me questions that I can easily answer, to give you as much knowledge as possible about something. Probably a bit too in-depth, but you know, with a few of us in the group, it's kind of nice. Yeah. So yeah, the plan is to try to get a microphone. I might just go out and buy one, and that's the end of it. And then chat is boring today. What? We can't do it. Sorry, it's boring. I was filmed for television today, and I'll be on Russian TV tomorrow night at 7:30. I think that's kind of unboring, but I guess if you don't know my whole story, I'm sorry. It really relies a lot on... it's so slow and uninspiring. Oh, sorry. I guess we're going to have to come up with another method then that's even better. So, not your best show. Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of thought it was good today, but I guess it's how it is. Just trying to up your game. Oh, I'll have to do that. Can do... Oh, don't put long letters. What? It wasn't that bad. Pamela, thanks for stopping by. Pamela, we had Ada, Mr. Cruise Fever. Maybe you're watching it back. Ina. Did we have also... Bebel Cruising. I know you're a very much follower of the channel. Michael Hooper beforehand. And No Regrets Traveling with Teddy G. That's kind of a long name, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe just be you, no biggie. I may leave. Oh, you can leave if you like. No worries. It is how it is, you know. This is Cruise Chat, and we're chatting about cruising live from my Moscow kitchen. So... let's get rid of that. Yes. Thanks, everybody. We'll sign off there. I hope you did like this. If you're watching it afterwards and you got right to the end, that's even more amazing. Thanks for watching I Like Cruise Ships, the YouTube channel. And we'll catch you in another stream. Bye, everybody.